Hello everybody at MTGO Academy, welcome to another Windmill Slam draft. My name is Ushin and unfortunately Dennis can't be with us tonight, so we're just going to be doing a Fate Reforged Swiss draft, and it's Fate Reforged Cans obviously, and this is our first pack. We've got a Diplomacy of the Waste. Crucible of the Spirit Dragon is kind of a sucky rare to open. The rares in Fate Reforged tend to be really powerful, and this might be the worst one. It doesn't put it as a huge disadvantage, but it's definitely tough. Harsh Sustenance, very strong card. A little bit awkward going into two colours. Valorous Stance is very powerful. Whisper of the Wilds, probably the best green common. Rage Form I don't love. I like it a lot, I just don't love it. I think Valorous Stance is probably where I want to be. I think white is probably the best colour in Fate Reforged. This is a very powerful removal spell. There's nothing else I'm super excited about. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Valorous Stance. Now, what do we got? The rare's gone, so no signaling to be taken from that. Goblin Heel Cutter, very powerful card. Just kind of kills people out of nowhere. Destructor Dragon, not a huge fan of most of the... I mean, I like them, the dragons. I think they're fine. I don't really want to take a Destructor Dragon. I don't want to take a Hero's Blade or a Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear is fine, it's just not terribly exciting. Abzan Advantage is playable, but not this early a pick. This pack's kind of crappy. I feel like I'm leaning towards the Heel Cutter. Going white-red is a lot more interesting to me than starting white-green, because obviously it puts us in two clans, Mardu or Jeskai, whereas going green-white puts us straight into Abzan, and Destructor Dragon isn't that much of a reason to commit that hard. Nor is Fruit of the First Tree. What have we got here? Man, this isn't going so well. I mean, like, Gurmag Angler is powerful, if I want to jump right into Mardu. Noxious Dragon is definitely better than the green equivalent. But still not incredibly exciting. The problem with 6-drops in this format, with the dragons and any other 6-drop really, is that your 6-drops don't have to be just 6-drops when you're playing with morphs. So it's much less attractive having a big late game finisher that you have to cast for 6 when you can just on that turn unmorph like a Woolly Loxodon or a Abzan Guide or something like that. That serves as your finisher, and it also is a play on turn 3. I'm leaning towards the Gurmag Angler over the Gorswine. I think Gurmag Angler is just a more powerful card in general, and I'm not super attached to the Gorswine, so I don't mind hedging into Mardu, even if we do end up moving into blue. These packs are awful. Is it just me, or is this like the same pack over and over again? Like, I've seen a few Abzan Advantages, I've definitely seen a Gorswine in at least 3 of these packs now. Gurmag Angler in probably the same amount. Crotic I've seen at least once. It's interesting. So I've got options for where I go now. I could take the Ward Scale Dragon. Again, don't love the dragons. Could take another Angler. Playing 2 Anglers is a little scary sometimes. Simply because you just don't have the Delve sometimes. Gorswine is a reasonable card, goes a lot better in the Jeskai deck than it does in the Mardu deck, but I'm actually going to take it here. I don't want the second Gurmag Angler this early, really. I might be just wrong about that, but it's not a card I've been super high on. Temur Battle Rage is pretty good. I'm just looking here, and there's, I mean, there's Soul Summons, which is a 2-mana 2/2. Like, that's good. It's not something I want to pick this early. Temur Battle Rage can just close out games, especially in combination with something like a Heel Cutter. Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Temur Battle Rage. Nothing else in this pack is pulling me in. The Jungle Hollow, I'm not terribly interested in. Or the Soul Summons. Will of the Naga is comparable in power level, but I think I'm going to go with the Temur Battle Rage since I know I'm probably in red because Goblin Heel Cutter is so good. Warflare? I mean, I want to be in red-white with the way this draft has gone, which, by the way, is not great. There's another Soul Summons. I think I'm leaning towards the Warflare. It's awkward a little bit because Temur Battle Rage and Warflare tend to want to be in different decks. Warflare wants to go wide, Temur Battle Rage wants to go big. But Warflare is just a very powerful card, and I'm okay with taking it here. Man, the packs are not treating us too well. On the plus side, I haven't seen a lot that someone else would want either, so that's probably a good thing. Let's see here. We've got Fierce Invocation, Abzan Advantage, Hooded Assassin. Tassiger's Cruelty is just definitely not going in my deck. Hooded Assassin I stay away from. A 3-mana 2/3 is usually fine. I like him a lot more if I have any of the Outlast synergies, things like Abzan Battle Priest or Einok Bondkin, something like that. But I think I'm leaning towards the Fierce Invocation here. It's not exciting, but it's at least reasonable. I think I'm just going to take a Windscar Crag here. Pressure Point's not interesting to me. Grave Strength, definitely not interesting to me. Crag is at least something I can use. Sky Captain, I'm surprised that came back to me. That's a very powerful card. What do we got here? I mean, I could take the Shadow Spear. It's that or like Smoldering Efreet. I don't actually hate an Abzan Advantage. There's not a lot of great targets in the format, that's my concern. It's just the sieges, really, that are really good to hit with an advantage. I'm actually going to take the Shadow Spear here. It's not an exciting pick, and it's not one I'm married to, but it is fine. Smoldering Efreet, I think, is actually quite bad. I think Crew Shock is similarly unexciting. I'm going to take Will of the Naga and hedge just a bit, because I'm not that hard in blue. What's going on? What's going on here? I'm going to take the advantage. I'm not hard in black, so I could end up in Jeskai in pack 2 if things go a certain way. I'm not 100% sure. God. It hasn't been going great. I'm actually... Both the black and the white are... not auto-includes. I much prefer my white to my black right now. Like, Shadow Spear is not something I'm terribly excited about. It's really just Gurmag Angler, and I have a piece of fixing for white. Not 100% sure where this is going. I feel like I'm ending up in Mardu, but there's a few things here that could change my mind about that. Things like Whirlwind of Depth. Tassiger's Cruelty is not one of those things. Things like Whirlwind of Depth, Efreet Weapon Master, things like that. Thousand Winds is something that might change my mind. Very, very powerful card. 6 mana, 5/6 flyer, already pretty good. Now this pack is a lot stronger than the ones we've seen so far. Heart Piercer would probably be my pick if it wasn't Thousand Winds, which, to be honest, I'm not convinced it is. I'm leaning that way. But there's also Heart Piercer, Bring Low. And Debilitating Injury. Those to me are the other options. I'm going to rule out Bring Low pretty fast. It's a good card. It's not really on a level with Heart Piercer. I feel similarly about Debilitating Injury. I think Heart Piercer is just a very powerful card. So for me, it's between Heart Piercer and Thousand Winds. So the question is whether I want to take a blue card and kind of push that way, or whether I just want to stick with the plan I have and take the Heart Piercer. To be honest, Thousand Winds is very powerful, but it's expensive and requires a bit of setup, and also is double blue in either mode. I'm inclined to stick with the Heart Piercer, because the question is whether Thousand Winds is worth dropping the black cards I have and this Heart Piercer, and to be honest, I don't really think it is right now. Ponyback Brigade, hello. Powerful with the War Flare. Horde Chief also a consideration. I think I'm going to take the Ponyback. I'd obviously love to see the Horde Chief or the Scavenger come back. Burn Away I'll also play, but I think Ponyback Brigade is where I want to be right now. Can move that down to the 3-drop slot. Wait, it's not sort of play. Bloodfell Caves jumps out at me. I've never really liked the Spies in Draft. Swarm of Bloodflies is good. It's fine. Now, Whirlwind Adept, that was one of the cards I was talking about, but now that I have Ponyback, don't really want to push that way, to be entirely honest. I think I just want the Bloodfell Caves. Ponyback's a decent payout for being in black, and I don't have a ton of synergy with Whirlwind Adept. Now, this is a pack. This is one that requires a fair amount of thought. Ride Down, obviously very powerful. Not good when you're behind, which is a gripe I have with it. I think it's a great card. I'm just concerned about taking it here. Like, there's a lot of cards in our deck that are good when we're ahead. We don't need another one of those. Warshrieker is just super efficient. And if you can fill your deck with morphs, it works out really, really nicely. Rush of Battle is not something I'm looking to take here. I do have one warrior? Oh, two warriors, except the one ones are goblins. I think where I'm leaning is the Warshrieker. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The Windscar Crag would also have been a decent option. There were a lot of picks I would have respected in that pack, but I just went with the Warshrieker kind of because of my gut. I'd be interested to see what you would take out of that pack, actually. What you guys think. So do let me know in the comments if you feel like it, but I feel like Warshrieker was probably correct. I might have committed too hard to Mardu so far. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want really any of these cards. I'm going to take the Tormenting Voice. I don't want to start it. I might have to play it. I don't want to. If I feel like we're getting cut a little bit, blue seems quite open, which is a pain, but it's a little sketchy moving now. On the other hand, I don't want any of these cards. I don't want really any of these blue cards either. What I want is that Hooting Mandrills. Like, if I were to switch... I can't go into Naya, though. That's just not a thing. I feel like I want to take... Sage Eye Harrier? That's so bad. I'm going to take this Hooting Mandrills in case something goes incredibly weird. I'm not saying I'm... No, something probably just what we want here. I don't want to move into green, really, but I definitely don't want the Sage Eye Harriers, really. So... Green does seem open, which is a little awkward. I mean, I could take the Rugged Highlands. Brave the Sands is actually a card I am a little higher on than most people, but I'm still quite low on it. I've used it and it's been fine. It is card disadvantage most of the time, but there are times it can just turn a race in your favor. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna again not start it. I don't know when I'd bring it in, but man, Saltwater Patrol is actually a fine morph. As morphs go. Green is madly open. This is weird. Leaping Master is totally fine. So the Rush of Battle came back, which is only really good with our Ponyback Brigade. We don't have a lot of warriors. INAV Tracker is a perfectly serviceable morph. I mean, sure. So let's hope Pack 3 is better to us than the other two. We started off Pack 2 okay. I feel like this might have gotten away from us a little bit. I might have missed some signals about... Ooh, Rough Rider. I think it might be all okay. I say that. It's just a very good card. Other notable cards in this pack are Ruthless Ripper, Bloodfire Expert, which has a nice little interaction with Temur Battle Rage, and Feat of Resistance, which I'm a big fan of. But I don't think any of them are really comparable to the Rough Rider. Things I wish I was in. Green. Seeker of the Way, though, is absolutely excellent. And I'm going to snap it up here. Like, 2 mana 2/2s with upside. Very good. Cute with Temur Battle Rage. Suspension Field is sweet. I think I definitely prefer it to Smite Monstrous. I could be pushed the other way on that purely because of the existence of cards like Abzan Advantage, but I am going to take the Suspension Field here. We're a little low on removal. At the moment we're at Suspension Field Valorous stance. Temur Battle Rage sometimes acts like a kill spell, but I'm not really willing to call it one. So prioritizing removal here seems like a good idea. Chief of the Scale is very efficient. As is Alabaster Kirin, but like a 2 mana 2/3 is already good. You don't need a ton of warriors to make it good. Something like a Trumpet Blast would be fine, but I feel like Chief is just where we want to be. And then probably a Scarred Barons. Bit of Revelation and Summit Prowler both caught my eye there. Dragon Grip. I don't love it in this kind of deck, but I usually like. I don't feel really comfortable unless I've got about 4 dual lands in this format if I'm in 3 colors. So I'm going to take the Scarred Barons. What do we got? Jeskai Student. Not exciting. Molting Snakeskin I've played before. Putting it on something like, I don't know, a Seeker of the Way or a Chief of the Scale on turn 3 can be quite a powerful play. Especially Chief of the Scale because that gets through morphs. I'm leaning towards the Snakeskin. War Behemoth might be just the better pick. I don't actually know. Oh my goodness, I thought this was the Morpher. It's not. I'm going to take the Snakeskin though. That's the Outlaster. Sorry, I've cut it by accident there. But I thought that was the Morpher, but it was War Behemoth I was thinking of. This is the Outlast guy. Still reasonable card, just not one I'm as excited about. My goodness. So there's a lot of cards we want here, but none of them are in our colors, you know? Like I said, Efreet Weapon Master probably would have pushed me into blue if I'd seen it sooner. I mean, Salt Road Patrol. Now I know it's the one I didn't want it to be. I'm a little bit upset. Now, Timely Horde Mate. Probably just the pick. We've got Seeker of the Way, Leaping Master, and Chief of the Scale to get back. Might be able to pick up a Valley Dasher, but anyway. Timely Horde Mate's just pretty reasonable. As is Bloodfire Expert. I like a Krumar a lot more than I like a Cavalry or a Swiftwing. Valley Dasher's great. Not great, he's fine. Don't really want to run these Salt Rolls if I don't have to. This has gone reasonably. From what I saw, Temur was very open. I didn't really pick up on it until it was a little too late to switch into it. But someone probably has a pretty good Temur deck out there somewhere. Couple of Whirlwind Adepts went by. Those are very powerful cards. And yeah, I saw at least one Snowhorn Rider. One of the better morphs. One of the better 3-color morphs, I should say. Firehoof Cavalry is not going in the main deck to start with. Okay. So what are we cutting? We've got one cut to make. I think this is probably a 17 land deck. Just kind of eyeballing it, but I think that's probably right. If we go ahead and take a look at creatures versus non-creatures, we're very creature heavy, especially when you consider that Fierce Invocation is basically a creature. So we're actually at 19 creatures, which is fine. I mean, deck can pull it off. Makes, you know, this and this better, and this. Let me see. We have to make one cut. Iron Tracker's a 3-drop, as is Ponyback Brigade. Are those my only morphs? I believe those are my only morphs. I'm not actually terribly excited about Iron Tracker. I think that is a card that could afford to go, but part of me wants to cut a 4-drop, simply because we've got too many. And I would lean towards cutting a Krumar, if that were the case. Although I'm not a huge fan of Fierce Invocation. Although, with the creature density in our deck, it could be a bit better. There's definitely awkward interactions like manifesting a Gurmag Angler or something like that. But I think I want to cut the Krumar. Do I? That's where I'm leaning. It could be the Snakeskin, but I feel like one way this deck wins is just sticking a Snakeskin on a 2-drop and kind of going to town. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut the Krumar. There's every chance that's wrong, but I'm going to try this out. I want to try Snakeskin, see if it is as good as I think, because I am definitely higher on it than a lot of people I know. Cough cough Dennis. Now, not a lot of black. Although 2 black 1 and 2 drops, so I'm actually gonna go like this and give that a try. Yeah, I'm happy enough with this build. The draft could have gone a bit better, but I'm not actually going to complain about it. It's gone fairly reasonably considering I probably missed a signal or two somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this, and I will see you guys for round 1. Okay, we're here for round 1. I don't think we can keep this. If it had, like, if any one of those lands was a 2-drop, I would happily keep it. Like, it's all 3 of our colors. It's got to play on turn 4. It's just not really going anywhere. 5 lands is too many. This I'm happy to keep. Like, turn 3 Goreswine, turn 4 Dash Heel Cutter is... It's a punch, like. Definitely hits hard. Same plan, I think. Interesting. That's a little awkward against Goreswine. Or, I mean, Goreswine's a little awkward against that. But hopefully we get him with the Heel Cutter. I played the Plains there when I should have played the Scarab Barons. That was just me not paying attention. I was talking while trying to play. That's going to come back to bite us, because now we don't get the War Shrieker on turn 4 if we could. Yeah, that was just a mistake. Played incorrectly. Yeah, especially on Magic Online. I don't find I do this in paper so much, but on Magic Online I find sometimes I just go autopilot. And that's when I make mistakes like that, you know? What are we looking at here? Dragon Scale General. Interesting. I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. I have Valorous Stance if things get out of hand. I think my play here is though is just Dash Heel Cutter Punch for 7. Seems reasonable. Yeah, I do find sometimes that I just autopilot my way through a turn and easily make mistakes from that. It's a bad habit. So my hope here is he attacks with both and uses the bolster on the general itself. That's kind of awkward. So that I can Valorous Stance it and start dealing with that Swiftwing. I mean, I can also Valorous Stance the Swiftwing, but it would be more difficult to deal with the general following that. Now, there's no play here that's really good, to be entirely honest. If I take 6 here and cast Heel Cutter? No. Bloodfire Expert? I'm going to try casting Bloodfire Expert here. The reasoning being I might be able to set up a turn where I can just kill him with Battle Rage. Ruthless Ripper. Yep, that's fine. That's actually totally fine. Okay, he's out of cards. So what I'm going to do here is swing with the Bloodfire Expert. If he blocks Temur Battle Rage and Valorous Stance his Swiftwing. If he doesn't, War Shrieker and Valorous Stance the Swiftwing. I think that's a fine plan. Yeah, so we're going to go for Temur Battle Rage on the Bloodfire Expert. Now what's cute here is the Prowess resolves before the Battle Rage does, and Ferocious is... I do have Ferocious when the stance itself resolves, and I'm also going to, before damage, kill the Swiftwing, because then I get another Prowess trigger. And he's out of cards in hand. I'm not too afraid of the Dragon Scale General on its own, so I feel like that turn went pretty well for me. Especially if he doesn't have a creature here, because I can just dash the Heel Cutter and kill him. He figured that out. So we're on to game 2. I mean, if I had more removal, I'd bring it in. I just don't. I got quite lucky to draw one of my kill spells there that mattered. So I believe what I'm going to do is just submit. General's good. It's definitely beatable, but it's a good card. There are, if I remember correctly, 6 white sources in the deck. I do have 2 cards in my hand I can play, and the hand gets quite... Well, I don't want to say good. It gets reasonable if I draw a white source, which is not really where you want to be, but I think I'm actually going to keep it. Could cost me, but you know, you do what you gotta do. Chief of the Edge. Interesting. Okay, so it's a 3rd land. It's not exactly the one we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and Valley Dasher here. Happily make that trade. Don't win the race, which again is ever so slightly awkward. But I have a feeling my turn 3 play is going to be a Leaping Master. So, even if I draw the white source, it's probably the Leaping Master. I'm happy to trade Valley Dasher for a Morph. I'm happy to trade it for a Chief of the Edge. I'm not super happy about getting punched for 7 here, but I'm not winning that race. Kind of okay with him using 3 mana to dash that turn though. I'm going to swing back. Because I haven't a choice. I could just get, you know, raced out of it this game. If it were me on his side, if I drew the 4th land, which he did, I'd probably just cast the Vanguard unless I have another good 4-drop. I don't really want to dash. Well, actually, I could just dash the Vanguard itself. That would be a pretty reasonable play. Hooded Assassin. Interesting. Not a card I'm a fan of, but, you know, it's pretty good against Valley Dasher. It's a little awkward. And a Ruthless Ripper. Okay. I feel like this game... probably his. I don't want to say that too soon, but... still no white mana, which was a risk we knew was a risk. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything to do this turn, I just have to swing with the Valley Dasher and let it die. What? Okay, so the Valley Dasher has to attack each turn. Even though I had 4 mana open, the worst it could be is something like Bringlow, which is going to get cast regardless. I think there's very little reason not to block with the Hooded Assassin there. Like, even Temur Battle Rage doesn't blow you out. Yeah. I don't really understand what's going on here. I'm foreseeing an incoming Warflare. Simply because he didn't dash the Vanguard, but I can't really play around. Okay, I'm very confused this game. Oh, Dragon Scale General. Okay. Yeah, I'll buy that, and then he gets to eat my Valley Dasher with that. I still don't have white mana. A lot of good white cards in my hand, though. Throw away the Valley Dasher. Here you block, right? Yeah. And just lose to this board, I believe. I'm going to 2 here. There's not a ton I can do, even if I do draw the white. Like, the best draw in my deck is... Oh, I forgot he had the... Yeah. Wait, why didn't he dash? He could have killed me. Oh. The plays. I mean, he has it locked up. Not dashing... I mean, if he's worried about... Yeah, I'm extremely confused about that play. Because... if you're... dashing for the win, you do that. If you're attacking not for the win, you don't play your dash. You don't play your creature pre-combat. And if you're trying to play around, you know, if you're in a secure position and you're trying to play around something, like the scariest thing I could have here is land Crux of Fate. And he kind of played right into that with the Vanguard instead of trying to kill me with it. Now it's possible he misclicked and meant to dash it, but right, we're going on to game 3 here. Nothing to be done about this. Still not a ton of sideboarding to do. Tormenting Voice is interesting. Tormenting Voice as kind of a early game sculpture hand spell. It makes a lot more hands reasonable. I might like that more than Fierce Invocation. Let's try that. Mostly just an experiment. I would like to play first, thank you. This is quite a good hand. It has some interesting questions in it, like Swamp or Windscarred Crag turn 1. I believe the answer is Windscarred Crag. But again, that's an opinion. Now, I could play the Shadow Spear turn 1, that's aggressive. What I don't get to do then is play the Seeker on turn 2. However, Shadow Spear on turn 1 is a more, you know, direct damage kind of play. I'm probably going to get in for at least 4, if not 6, with this thing if I play it on turn 1. Yeah, I've convinced myself now. I don't have any spells to trigger the Seeker. I could naturally draw planes, like stranger things have happened. I think this is probably just the correct way. Okay. Interesting. Here I'm just definitely playing a Windscar Crag and attacking for 2. Everyone starts the game on 22 in this format. I found purely aggressive decks in draft haven't been doing as well in Cans block as I'd maybe like them to, because I quite like those kind of decks. Okay, so here I'm actually just going to play Seeker and pass the turn. If I draw a mountain or a plains next turn, I can War Flare, which on this board is actually quite decent. Gets a prowess trigger on Seeker, gains me a bunch of life. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. Oh, can I recover from that? That's the question. Really need a land now. Really need a land right now. Okay, good job. We're going to play Sky Captain. We're not going to chump, or trade I should say. We're going to attempt to kill that thing with this Heart Piercer, get our value that way. Once we've deployed a couple of things, ideally the Rough Rider as well, War Flare might finish the job, especially with the Rough Rider in play. But that Arc Lightning was kind of brutal. Hooded Assassin, I don't care about. I don't think. No, I don't care about that at all. Like, you'd think a 3-mana 2/3 would be quite well positioned in this format, what with all the morphs running around. But I just don't care about that thing. That's interesting that he's offering that trade, though. If it was me, I don't know if I would. Hordemate's interesting. Hordemate gets back Seeker. But I think I still want to go for the Piercer play this turn. Or do I? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Blanks his attacker. Kills one of his creatures. He's got 1 mana open, which I don't believe could be anything that matters. So now's the time I'm going to go for it. Like, I could justify playing the Hordemate, getting back Seeker there. Especially if my plan is to War Flare, but I'm okay with taking a couple more turns to set up, because I'm now quite safe. Not very safe, but reasonably safe. There's not a ton that can go wrong here. Don't jinx it, Oshin. But yeah, I think the Heart Piercer was probably the correct play. Swiftwing is fine. Bloodsucker is also fine. You gotta hit for 1 here. Like, there's no way you're blocking the captain with the Swiftwing. Yeah. So now I believe the play is attack with the Sky Captain. No reason to attack with the Heart Piercer. War Flare back the Seeker. Or sorry, Hordemate back the Seeker, and the following turn is War Flare. I think that's how I'm playing this. Yeah, I think that's exactly how I'm playing this. War Flare is just such a powerful card. Alright, what are we looking at here? He's got access to 6 mana. It could be the Noxious Dragon we saw. Or the Ward Scale. We saw both of those. Interesting. So he is a little afraid. I think I just go for the War Flare play here. He could have a War Flare of his own, which would be interesting. I don't actually know who wins that fight. I think it's us. Let's give this a try. War Flare definitely favors, like, if this is a War Flare mirror that's happening right now, if he has War Flare as well, I'm much happier being the one attacking, my reasoning for this is that it untaps the creatures, so I get a little bit more value out of it if I'm the one who breaks this kind of stalemate. I don't know why he didn't attack with the Swiftwing. I still don't feel like he's in a position to block. Alright. So, there's a couple of cards that make this go wrong. Oh, I did that wrong. Need to tap the Crag for red, and then that for white. Seeker triggers. So hopefully I just blow him out here. Like, hopefully he has nothing and I just pretty much win the game on the spot. He gets to sacrifice the assassin to stop me gaining 5 life if he wants. That's a play he could make. Yep. Oh, interesting. Oh, he can do it twice. Yeah, I guess that's reasonable. He gets to kill my Heartpiercer. And I don't get to gain 5, which is ever so slightly awkward. But I feel like... Oh, and he got to drain me for 2 as well. That was some nice play. I still feel like the game's pretty much over at this stage. Like, I'd be surprised if he could come back from this, especially with a suspension field in my hand. I feel like that Nomad Outpost was his draw, which again, I'm happy about. I get to play the Rough Rider now, which I'm going to do. There's no real reason to Valley Dasher him. I think Rough Rider's more secures the clock a lot more than playing the Valley Dasher here does. So I'm just going to swing with everything and then post-combat play the Rough Rider. Crackling Doom. This is why we play the Rough Riders post-combat. So yeah, I mean, Warflare is just a very powerful card. Not a lot to say about it. I missed the play with the Care Bloodsucker. It could be he played the 6th land intentionally in order to make that play, and if he did, his blocks were quite good. He was playing around Warflare nicely. Having said that, it's hard to play around Warflare. Like, if you don't block, Warflare hit you for a ton. If you do block, they Warflare kill a bunch of your creatures. Sometimes they even save the Warflare for your counterattack. It's difficult to play around. Alright, so that was round 1. I'll see you guys for the next 2. So this is just definitely a keep. Turn 2 Seeker. Turn 3, depending on his plays, it could be either Snakeskin or Goreswine. Probably Goreswine. We'll see how things go. I quite like the idea of Snakeskin bash for 5, especially if his turn 3 plays a morph. This hand's lining up quite nicely. Drawing a mountain would be a nice one. Nearly autopilot played a swamp. That could have gone horribly wrong. Yeah, if he kind of goes morph here, I might just Snakeskin him up. Because what this means is I get to attack this turn. Because I really don't want to trade a Seeker for a morph. Although it does kind of slow me down. It will mean he can't profitably block it next turn, and I can attack quite safely, and then threat of activation, and then not have to use the Snakeskin and then play a Sky Captain. I actually quite like this line. If he has a bounce spell, though, and he is in white-blue, it gets quite bad. Maybe it is just Goreswine Pass, but that's a little boring. I'm thinking I'm going to risk it. I quite like this play. Best case scenario, I end up with quite a resilient threat. Worst case scenario, I hit him for 5 and gain 5, and he bounces the creature and I lose some tempo. And a snake skin. Okay, so far so good. I don't have Regenerate up, but the only thing that matters for right now is Smite the Monsters. That's our Battle Priest, fine. So this is now going well for us. I get to hit him for 4. He doesn't block with the Battle Priest. If he does, delightful. 3 mana, no cards, kill a creature is pretty good. But alternatively, I get to just play Sky Captain here. So that is the attack I'm going to make. Just get in for 4, pretty much for free. And if he blocks, happy days. He does not surprising. And then we Sky Captain. Again, not leaving up Regenerate. Outlast, fine. Doing that pre-combat is interesting. Oh, that's for Kieran. Sure. If he passes here, I'm swinging with both. Because I have Warflare. Which he did. Warflare gets both of my creatures past his. Pretty happy with this. Am I happy to Warflare here? That's the question. I mean, if I Warflare, I get to deal him 7 damage and gain 7 and kill his creature. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Yep. That one will. What am I looking at now? Lotus Path Djinn. That one's interesting. Oh god. This game just... it doesn't feel fair. Like... he has 2 cards in his hand. I could see a Force Away incoming. But, depending on his blocks, I may just go for it. Especially if he blocks with a Battle Priest. Which he did. Huh. So this gains him 4 life if I regenerate, at the cost of his Battle Priest. I could Temur Battle Rage and go for the kill here. That's tempting. I get fairly blown out by a bounce spell. Just get 2 for 1. But, like, if he doesn't have, like, exactly Force Away, I win the game right now. I'm leaving up white just in case he does have Force Away, because at least then I can replay the Seeker. Okay, the triggers are resolving. That feels like good news. You die? Fantastic. Alright. So that was quick, and it was 1,000 wins. That's good to know. Don't want anything. I feel happy enough with this. I feel like Fierce Invocation might be a little worse against 1,000 wins. But that seems a little nitpicky. Because it's not like I'm down a card if he bounces a manifested creature. If it was like, put a 2/2 token into play and put 2+1/+1 counters on it, maybe I'd have a point. But as it is, it's not like it's any worse than him bouncing a creature a lot of the time. It's a little worse if I manifest a land, put 2 counters on it, and then in the late game he bounces it. Oh. Oh, this is so close to being good. I want to keep this. I think it's wrong to keep this though. Let me see. No cards in my hand I can play except for the suspension field. Suspension field doesn't hit anything before turn 3 realistically. Except something like a Chief of the Scale. And War Shrieker probably won't hit anything the turn I cast it. I can't raid War Shrieker. No, this is probably just a mulligan. And this is another one. I mean, I'm going to keep it. But I think I could have gotten a better 6 than what I had there. I have a lot of 2s and 3s in the deck. That's a pretty good draw, all things considered. Yeah, I think the 6 could have definitely gone better. Because I got a bad 6 doesn't mean it was incorrect to mulligan the 7, obviously. Although I'm still not sure if it was. I think there are arguments. I can't really complain about this 5 though. Like, having a 5 with all of your colours... Hey look, I play. Having a 5 with all of your colours is pretty good. I'm actually just going to cast this without dash. He's going to morph, I'd imagine. Jeskai Banner. Now we have options. I think the play is almost certainly attack you, Inoc Tracker. There's an argument for molting Snakeskin, just kind of hit him for a bunch and create a threat that's just a pain to deal with. But I think that's just asking for trouble. It's very eggs meat basket as a play, so I'm more inclined to just go for the morph play here. Depending on the lands I draw, or if I draw lands at all, could make a difference to how I play this next couple of turns. Salt Road Patrol. Interesting. That's kind of a brick wall for me. That's just really big. So Plains was the draw. I feel like I'm going to Summit Prowler here. I think that's just what I'm going to do. And then hoping to draw a Swamp. Because then I get to go Snakeskin up the Summit Prowler, bash. Although, if he doesn't play anything with more power than the Salt Road, I can still theory. Well, I mean, it's very unlikely he plays nothing this turn. Kieran. Alright, so I don't really want to trade for those. That was a very good draw, actually, because now what I get to do is go Bloodfire Expert. Snakeskin the Yeti. Pass. And then next turn I get to attack with a 6/3 Regenerator. Which is fairly strong. The problem was I didn't have double black to cast and leave up the activation on Snakeskin. And if he double blocked, I'd end up trading for like an Outlaster Kieran. And trading that for 2 of my cards, which I wasn't really interested in doing. He gets to bash me for 2, that's totally fine. He's got a lot of cards in hand, which does make me nervous. I'm just hoping they're all lands. Outlast, okay. This to me looks like he's taking 6 this turn. Still got 4 mana open. What could that be? If it was Bringlow, he would have just cast it. Almost no doubt in my mind. I'm gonna go with Prowler and Expert here. I'm quite happy to trade the Expert for a Kieran. Okay, so he's making me regenerate. Probably has the bounce spell or something to respond with. Or he's just trying to eat my turn. I'm very confused by this line of play. I imagine there's a bounce spell. Like I'd be very surprised if there wasn't something here to blow me out. Whisk Away, that's a lot worse than a bounce spell. So you got me pretty good there. Yeah, looks like I'm just passing the turn. Yeah, that went very well for him. We're a ways away from casting Gurmag Angler, which wouldn't even be huge on this board. Salt Road's pretty big. That's a 3/6. Lotus Path Chain is a very good card. Oh look, a Summit Prowler. I feel like I'm just going to cast that and pass the turn. I'd like to be drawing lands. I know I was definitely drawing the Summit Prowler, but in general I like to be drawing lands because this is actually reasonable on this board. Although not really against the Flyers. It's this thing that's the issue. I'd happily trade these for these. It's just the fact that there's a Salt Road Patrol sitting on the table. That's 3/6. Something like a Valor's Stance would be a nice draw, or a Suspension Field. Those are the only two things I believe I have that deal with it. Similarly, a Heel Cutter would work. Oh, we lose this game. But yeah, the point I was making earlier was a Heel Cutter would have been quite good. Man, that does not look pretty on Magic Online. I like the fact that it looks like someone scribbled all over Sarkhan. Like, Dragon, Flying, Haste Indestructible, 4/4, just put it next to the loyalty, it's fine. So he's currently not a Planeswalker? But he does still have 5 loyalty counters on him. This is very interesting. Okay. Now, what did I just say? So... Dash Heel Cutter. Send everything at Sarkhan? That doesn't seem like winning. What happens if I do that? He blocks here, and Sarkhan dies, and I lose 2 creatures. Not terribly effective. What happens if I just send the things that can trade at Sarkhan? He goes block, probably. And let this through, I'd imagine. Sarkhan goes to 1. Still hits me for 4. He hits me back for of course the Heel Cutter's attacking as well. So Heel Cutter, Expert, Summit Prowler. So we either trades twice here, and let Sarkhan go to 1, or he loses his Sarkhan. I feel like that's how I win this game. Nice bit of anti-synergy here. You can't use this to pay for this. Okay. And Salt Road can block. So what I imagine is happening this turn is he's losing his Sarkhan. Still has quite a good board to punch back with. He may trade for the heel cutter just because that thing's a pain. I wouldn't actually blame him for that at all. Trading for the heel cutter. That does seem incorrect. Yeah, he's thought better of that one. Okay. Interesting. He has a lot of mana to work with. And that thing, that Sarkhan is probably just going to kill me. Which I'm concerned about. Again, Valorous Stance. Be a very good draw. Or Suspension Field. Okay. So we're going to... Could play Angler this turn. Don't love it. I think the play here is just try and stabilize this board. So it's going to be Valorous Stance, targets Salt Road Patrol. Now, I can't really afford to take another hit from Sarkhan. However, there's no real point attacking with the Shadow Spear at the Sarkhan. Because if that's the only thing that gets through, Sarkhan still doesn't die. So I think what I do is still send with the team because I'm not blocking. But it's going to be Morph and Summit Prowler at Sarkhan, so we can't keep it alive. And Shadow Spear at him. I think that's correct. I'd actually be very happy if he traded for the Morph, because then I can post-combat Gurmag Angler. I can't imagine he will, though. If this is a Icy Blast. Will of the Naga. Gross. Alright, so what I get to do here is still attack Sarkhan with the Morph. Presumably he trades, and then I get to follow up with a Gurmag Angler. Sarkhan takes me to 3. Gurmag Angler finishes it off, provided he's got nothing else in his hand, and maybe I can stabilize this game. I feel like that's my best chance. Oh, but yeah, Planeswalkers are powerful cards, turns out. What's this? Weave Fate. Not really what you want to see. Okay. I think I'm actually dead to that, which is kind of funny. Because now he can chump Gurmag Angler with the Morph and kill me with Sarkhan. So what do I need to draw? Did I delve away my... Temur Battle Rage, I believe, is the card that saves me, and that is not a Temur Battle Rage. So as far as I can tell, I'm just dead. I'm going to send at the Sarkhan anyway, give him a chance to screw up. Yep. Wouldn't really expect him to make that mistake, and now we're on to game 3. So actual Sarkhan, huh? I don't think that changes much, to be entirely honest. I'm happy enough to just resubmit that. We got close to killing that thing. We needed him to not draw a creature that turn, and he drew a creature. The Will of the Naga was quite good. Tempo cards combined with Planeswalkers tend to win games. You get to just sit back and, like, you can afford to play in a way that's card disadvantageous, because your Planeswalker's just generating card advantage, or in this case, in Sarkhan's case, just killing your opponent. This is just one of those really awkward hands that would be great if it had a 2-drop or a 3-drop. As it is, I think it's probably unkeepable. This is a very different story. This is quite good. Ponyback Brigade matches up a little bit better to Sarkhan than just random big creatures do. Especially with war flares and stuff involved. I don't love going to 6 here, obviously, but there's just not a whole lot to be done about it. Heart Pierce is a decent draw. We're going to go for an Anton and pass out the turn. Depending on if he has a play here, I might go... Yeah, we'll go for the Gorswine here. I considered morphing, but considering he doesn't have a play, happy enough to throw down the Gorswine. I really don't want to trade a morphed pony back for, like, you know, a Heart Piercer activation. If he plays a morph here, I'm actually quite happy to send in with the Gorswine, because then I get to go War Shrieker, Bloodfire Expert, and gain back quite a bit of tempo. This is all assuming I draw a land. Perfect. Send with the Gorswine. So this is now going very well for us. Actually, I think the play is probably War Shrieker... Kill shot, really? Okay. I'm actually fine with that. I think the play here is War Shrieker, Morph Ponyback. I think that's what I'm going to do. Potential flip next turn. If not, no big deal. If his play here is a morph, we get the Heart Piercer to death after attacking with the War Shrieker. That's pretty good. Salt Row Patrol we can kill by attacking with the War Shrieker, hoping he blocks, and then finishing it off with the Heart Piercer. Kieran can't do a ton to that, to be fair. Oh. Well, that's going to be good at some stage. Once we've unmorphed Pony back, realistically. Attack with War Shrieker. Can't imagine he blocks. I'm not going to waste the Heart Piercer here. I know it's more mana efficient to cast that than the Expert, but I'm going to cast the Expert. Absent Battle Priest. So again... Huh, I wonder what the play is here. I think it's attack with War Shrieker, because I'll make the trade for the Battle Priest. If he doesn't want to make that trade, which I could understand, I get the Heart Piercer down the Battle Priest. I'm also actually happy with either of these trades, so let's do that. Interesting. Okay, now I'm going to War Flare. I know it sucks not getting the value off the pony back, but I get an onboard 2 for 1, because Prowess will keep this ahead of this, and this gets to eat that as well. I'm just going to go ahead and fire off the War Flare here. I didn't expect those blocks. Kind of played right into it. And now I get, you know, like I say, onboard 2 for 1. So I got card advantage, and I got huge tempo advantage out of that. Just traded 8 mana for 4. And now he's playing a banner. Alright, so we get to attack here, and probably unmorph pony back on end step. I can't think of a reason to do it like that, except for, I guess it plays around something like... I can't think of a reason. I'm just holding the mana up just purely for the minor psychological advantage it might give me. There's that Sarkhan, but interestingly, I kind of don't care about it. Like, I feel like the play here is to minus that thing. Because sure, you could hit me for 4, but I'm just going to kill it. It's a kill spell that soaks a little bit of damage. You can't be too sad about something like that. Now, unfortunately for him, in this case, it only soaks 1 damage. Now, the question is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, he's dead. Okay, we'll just do that then. Put this on here. Doesn't actually matter. Something like a Wild Slash would no longer do it now that he's let it resolve. Oh no, it would remove it from combat. But the point is, now I get to attack him for 11. I don't even have to kill the Sarkin. And if I did want to kill the Sarkin, I could do it with the Heart Piercer. Which makes me feel a lot safer about going for this. Okay, so we're 2-0. He just got off to a stumbly start, and the War Flare. Again, War Flare's a really powerful magic card, just crippled him. So we're going on to round 3. See you guys there. Alright, and here we are again for round 3. We won the die roll, so we're going to go ahead and play first, see what we get. Nope. Can't keep that. If it had a red mana in it, maybe. Can't keep that. Can't keep that either. Oh well. Jeez. Go to 4. Like, I feel like we go to 4 here, as miserable as that is. Fine. Whatever. Fine. Maybe should have kept the 5, but like... At least this hand has a 4 mana 2/3 in it. What more could you want? Okay. So the ideal draw is like 3-drop land, but maybe we'll get it in the other order? I don't know. We have all our colors now. We need to get lucky. Like, when you mulligan to 4, you just need to get lucky. Question is, am I interested in playing the Heart Piercer here? I feel like I have to be. That Alpine Grizzly is just going to punch me really hard in the face if I don't. This shuts him down from attacking with the Highland game, unless he has like Awaken the Bear, in which case I'm definitely losing this game. Is he mono green? Or is he just stuck off colours? I can't imagine there being a viable mono green deck in this format. Although, green was pretty open. No, okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, so we're probably looking at what's it called? Untap it, put 2+1/+1 encounters on it. 4 mana. Having said that, I need to play like he doesn't have it. That's what I need to do. Awaken the Bear. Ruthless Instincts, close enough. Same card. 1 less number on it. Which I'm happy about. Seeker. Not a terrible draw. All things considered. I'm very happy it was that card and not the untap it and put 2+1/+1 counters on it. What the hell is that card called? It's not Savage Surge, it's Dragon Scale Boon. Dragon Scale Boon. Now, I'm going to take this. I want to get some value out of this War Flare. And it's worth 5 points of life to me if I keep the Seeker around. Plus, probably an attack through whatever this is. Not so much. Alright. Well. Well. So... go to main phase 2, I guess? Play this Valley Dash here. Use it to attempt to trade for the Grizzly. If he doesn't want to, he's probably smart. Good draws at this point are basically Valorous Stance and Suspension Field. To an extent, Teamer Battle Rage would be okay. Something like a Heel Cutter might get some work done. Hard to say. He's just coming in. That's scary. That is quite scary. I'm going to try and do this trade. I doubt it's going to work, but I'm going to give it a go. Huh. Interesting. What are we looking at now? Ambush Crotic. Okay. So we draw Leaping Master. Tower Shell's going to come back attacking next turn, so is a 5/5 Trample. So how am I interested in playing this turn is the question. Warflare gets me a 5/4 Seeker of the Way, which will trade for the Crotic. I think what I'm going to do is attack. I think I have to 2-for-1 myself here, which I don't love doing. But I don't see how I'm beating Tower Shell on the way back. Okay, so he just takes this. So what I would then want to do is pass the turn. And if he comes in with the Crotic and the Tower Shell, I can Warflare, block the Crotic, gain 5, lose 7, go to 4. Lose 6, I beg your pardon, go to 4. Go to 5. So I need to do that before the Declare Blocker step. And also hope he just doesn't have anything. And while I'm hoping he doesn't have anything, hope I draw away to then deal with the Tower Shell. Because as slow and clunky as that thing is, it will just kill me eventually, and I'm not drawing what I need to deal with it. Good thing I don't have any islands. I can probably just jump it. But yeah, this is a sticky situation. This is, you know, basically what you expect when you multi-4. Scrap for a while and then die. But, you know, you win some of those games. A lot needs to go right, but you win some of those games. Tuskar Captain. It's not my definition of something going right. Archer's Parapet. Okay, that's also going to kill me eventually. Battle Rage would have been handy. No, probably wouldn't have actually. Leaping Master it is. So we need to take this damage from the captain. I think that's our best chance of winning. And then we draw something this turn, or we get parapeted plus Husker captained to death. Jeez. We knew he had the Highland game. Yeah, we're dead. I don't see a reason to play it out. Abzan Guide. Okay. Probably weren't going to beat that either. Is there anything I'm interested in out of the sideboard? I didn't see enchantments. Brave the Sands, not really for this matchup, I don't think. Salt World Patrol matches up quite well against Alpine Grizzlies. Maybe I want that more than I want Valley Dasher. Let's give that a try. Oh, the Fierce Invocation. The Fierce Invocation should have come out for Assault Road. I think in this matchup a 4-mana 2/5 might be just better than a 5-mana 4/4, which is bizarre, but I think that's possibly correct. So I would like to play first. I'd like a good hand this time. Now we're talking. This is not, you know, it's not the nut hand, but it's good. It's got a 2-drop, a very efficient 2-drop, and a removal spell. I'm happy with this hand. I'm even happier with it now. Almost played the mountain on autopilot. You gotta stop doing that, Oshin. Chief of the Scale. 2-mana 2/3s. They should make more of those. They're great. I believe the word is whatever. Attack you. Perfectly happy attacking here. Being aggressive. This draw supports being aggressive quite nicely. Suspension Field lets me clear a big blocker out of the way with very little tempo loss, and Gurmag Angler. The more aggressive I am with like trading, the better it gets. Now, that's not saying I'm going to trade a Bloodfire Expert for a Highland game. Although, you know, I've had worse ideas. Something like Battle Rage, that would be ideal. Oh my god! Oh my god. Yes. Thank you. I need to go and buy a lottery ticket now, if you'll excuse me. That's the second time today I've just, like, called a card. That's pretty sweet. Alright, we're gonna give that a try. It might not work, but... Like, if he has... What could he have? There's not a ton that blood is out here. We're just hitting him for a ton of damage, like. Kabloom! So that went well. Temur Battle Rage, good card. I really like the interaction between Battle Rage and, like, prowess creatures. It just makes me happy. It's not even a particularly strong interaction, it's convenient and satisfying, I guess. So I'm going to attack before playing my land this turn. The reasoning being that if he kills one of these creatures, which he would most likely do before they deal damage, I get to play Gurmag Angler this turn. And if he doesn't, I just play Woodscar Crag. So if there's like a kill shot incoming, I want to play the Plains. If there's not, I want to play the Crag. He's thinking about something. He's got 4 mana open, 6 cards in hand. Wow, 6 cards in hand. That's kind of scary, actually. Although you can have all the cards you want if you're dead. What's this? Kill shot? Was I right? Murderous Cut. Okay, so similar result. I'm glad I didn't play my land pre-combat, because it actually mattered quite a bit here, because now I get to delve for this Angler. That's the kind of thing you miss if you are just doing what I do sometimes and piloting your way through turns. So if you just play some big dumb creature, I get the suspension, field it, and bash. If he plays a kill spell, I still have a creature left over. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets out of this one. Oh, he doesn't. Okay. Game 3. Yeah, I think... Now, what did I see that game? Not a ton, actually, to be fair. But from the first game, I feel like this build is fine. I might want the Fierce Invocation gone for a second Salt Royal Patrol, purely because of the Alpine Grizzly matchup, I guess. And I feel like I'm a little more defensive in this matchup, but, you know, that last game seemed to disagree. It could be I want Valley Dasher more than I want one of these. I will be on the draw this game, though. Yielding Krumar is also quite good against Alpine Grizzlies. I'm going to try this again. I didn't really see enough of his deck, nor am I very good at sideboarding. That's an issue I have. Alright. So we're on the draw. Okay, so there are no spells in my hand that I can currently cast. I think I need to mulligan this. Like, I'm not playing anything till turn 4 if I draw another red source. No, I'm not happy with that. This is fine. This is fine. This doesn't need a ton of help to be quite good. That's not really what we're looking for right now, but you know. Nor is that. White cards are not what we want. We want plains. Morph, fine. Plains? Not so much, but I am happy to cast this morph instead of the expert here, because I'm very willing to trade for that that morph he's got there. So now we're really looking for our plains. We've been mulliganing a lot with this deck. I don't think it's a reflection on deck construction. It's too small a sample size to say something like that. I think it's more just luck of the draw. It is something to take into account, though. Like, you can't really make those kind of assessments in 3 rounds of Magic, but if you like make certain decisions and over the long term, the very long term, start to notice a pattern, that's something you can actually take into consideration. I almost never like casting that as a 1-1. I mean, I guess he gets, if he's stuck off black, then I guess that's reasonable. Kermac Angler's pretty bad here. I don't like attacking because I lose the race. I don't like not attacking because that morph could flip next turn and be something scary. I just don't really like the situation. I'm actually going to attack and see what happens. Chump block. Or no chump block. Okay. Well, now I'm going to play a Bloodfire Expert and pass the turn. So yeah, he's hit the magic 5 mana, where morphs are scary. That could be something like a Pine Walker. It could be a Krumar Bondkin. Krumar Bondkin. That's hard to say. It doesn't appear to be either of those things, though. And that's a plains. That's a very good draw. That makes me feel a lot safer about the next couple of turns. I think, like, I could attack with this morph here, but again, like I say, that morph can be scary, and Suspension Field is unfortunately not an instant. I feel like I just want to play it safe, play Sky Captain, and pass. I'll be quite happy to trade off that Captain for absolutely anything, because you just get a ton of value, especially when you've got a Gurmag Angler in your hand. We're going to see an end step morph. No, interesting. Like, even if I end up trading the Sky Captain for like 5 of his mana, say I block the morph and he flips something scary, I end up with 2 extra counters, a card in the bin for Gurmag Angler, like just lots of good things. Maybe he's stuck off white mana, maybe that's not why I'm not seeing anything happening. That's an interesting draw. Yeah, that is an interesting draw. Still doesn't let me attack with the Bloodfire Expert, but that's kind of fine. What I'm actually going to do here is Heel Cutter, dash it. The morph can't block, attack you for 4/7, and he's only got a 1/1. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Don't really want to make this trade, so I'm not going to offer it. Wouldn't be surprised to see a chump block here. Also wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of trick or kill spell. Straight up Murderous Cut. Targeting the Heel Cutter. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Although now I've had a fair bit of value out of it, so I'm totally fine with that. Murderous Cut's a premium removal spell. That thing was going back to my hand at the end of turn, so I guess I kind of got a tempo advantage in that way, and I got in for 4 damage as well. So Heel Cutter, you did good. Plus now there's an extra card for Gurmag Angler, so I am 2 mana / cards in graveyards away from angling him, hitting him with a zombie fish. I never read that flavor text before. Okay. Coming in with the morph, I would imagine. Coming in with a 1/1. Actually, yeah, that's totally reasonable. I'm not going to block that. Like, he's now got 6 mana and 4 cards in hand. Ambush Crotic picking up Inoc Guide. Fine. I'm going to suspension field the Crotic and go in with... Going with everything, in fact. Get Prowess Trigger. He might just be dead. I feel like he might just be dead. If he doesn't block, he's dead for sure. Oh no, he's only dead if he doesn't block. If he does block, he's still in a bit of trouble. The automatic targeting thing really freaks me out because I always feel like I'm going to yield through this kind of thing. I know it's probably a good thing that it automatically targets if there's only one legal target, but the problem I have with it, and it's kind of nitpicky, but the problem I have is that the UI is so unforgiving on Magic Online. It's very, very easy to make a mistake and click through your attackers or click through your first land drop or something along those lines, that when it does anything automatically, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. And that, you know, it's a weird criticism to have, but it's definitely one that I feel is at least moderately valid. So yeah, just when I cast Suspension Field, it automatically targeted the Crotic because it was the only creature on the table with power 3 or toughness 3 or greater. But it's a May ability, and you know, there's just a lot that's weird about it. And when it does that, I just feel like I'm definitely going to screw something up. I think I have this game sewn up. Like, not a lot can happen here. It would need to be Death Frenzy. Death Frenzy would do it. Death Frenzy would make this a game again, you know? Failing actual Death Frenzy, I mean, you know, Crux of Fate. Death Frenzy would actually be a lot better in this scenario. It would gain him 3 life. But Crux of Fate would also work. He sent me a message. As I always said, it is easier when your opponent does not really play in game 1. Oh, that was the mulligan to 4. It is easier when your opponent does not play. Yeah. I like a good sport. I don't tend to message. Oh, look, a fan. I don't really tend to message on Magic Online. I don't use the chat function usually because, not for any particular reason, just to find it usually only happens at the end of the game, and I'm wary of being either a sore loser or a bad winner. Neither of which are things I like. So I tend to just avoid it because, or apart from like if my opponent says GG, I'll say GG back. You know. Yeah, no, very good deck. I mean, Abzan Guide and Murderer's Cut are powerful cards. So that just about wraps it up, guys. Thanks for watching. Sorry Dennis couldn't be here. Yeah, no, actually that's true. I didn't even think of that at the time. That would have made a big difference to that game. Yeah, if you are looking for more content like this, ideally with both myself and Dennis, feel free to check us out on youtube.com/windmillslammtg. We post there every week, and we post here every second week on a Wednesday. Thanks to the guys at MTGO Academy for having us. There's links to everything in the description, and there's more information over on our channel. See you guys next time.